At the entrance to the Coventry Stadium, a brick-built turnstile block lies in ruins. It was burned down a few weeks ago by vandals. Charred beams crisscross the rubble, walk-on and broken glass crunches underfoot. Puddles pockmark the forecourt where cars once parked. Dangerous site, dangerous structure. A sign nailed to barriers at the stadium's front gate reads, "For most sports fans." That moment when you glimpse an arena for the first time, a football pitch under lights, perhaps the majesty of a cricket ground. The cloistered beauty of centre court or the dramatic presence of the Eau Rouge section of the Spa racetrack is an instant that makes your heart leap and your pulse race. It's a realization that something magical happened here, that sport happened here, that memories are made here. That there has been great happiness here, that there has been triumph and there has been despair, and that all of it has been shared by generations. At Edgeley Park, the home of Stockport County, there is a banner behind a goal that reads, "The scarf my father wore." It hints at an arena's sense of history and aura. It tells you that you are somewhere that helps to bind the community together with civic pride. But at the Coventry Stadium, where greats of speedway such as Olsen once rode for the Coventry Bees, the magic has gone. Walk through the tunnel and gaze around a place that once housed nearly 30,000 fans for its biggest meetings. And there is only a sense of sadness and loss. Sport has fled this place, chased away by developers, and left it bereft. This was a magical place once. At one time it was the finest speedway stadium in the country. It staged the biggest and most prestigious meetings for speedway and stock car racing, including 31 British finals, 2 World Cup finals, 3 British GPs, 21 test matches and 21 World Stock Car Championships, all that feels like the distant past now. An upturned metal chair squats on what used to be the Greyhound track. Weeds poke through the dirt. Bits of piping and a rusting saw have been discarded where the dogs used to run. The door to the hut that once housed the people who operated the tote on race night sits ajar. A stray dog, abandoned by travellers, was found cowering in the hut last week. Beyond the Greyhound track, it is still possible to make out the outline of where the world's best speedway riders used to compete. The track is also known as the Brandon Stadium, after the nearest village, and the Brandonapolis meeting attracted 29,000 people to this part of the Midlands. Jeff Davis, a lifelong speedway fan and the track photographer at the stadium for 33 years, is leading a campaign group called Save Coventry Speedway, and as he stares at the stadium wasting away, he remembers how the Friday night lights, the smell of methanol, the noise of the engines and the hum of the crowd fill the air. He points to his left and the terraces beyond the fourth turn and says he recently received an email from a woman in her 20s who had watched Speedway from those steps with her father when she was young. She had come back recently to visit and burst into tears when she saw what had happened. Her father had died and she felt part of their shared history was now dying too. There are still tire marks in the dirt. Some kids forced their way in a couple of weeks ago and staged their own impromptu races. There used to be 20 to 25 speedway meetings a year here, and stock cars were a fixture too. In fact, the stadium was the country's leading stock car racing venue, but the kids on their bikes provided the only action. The old stadium, which opened in 1928, has seen since November 5, 2016, when it staged its last stock car meeting 2 months earlier. 11,500 fans packed in for stock cars Formula One World Final. The story of its fall into disuse will be familiar to sports fans who have seen the homes of their clubs bought by property developers. The stadium is built on land designated for sporting use, but that has not stopped the developers, Brandon Estates, releasing plans for 137 homes to be constructed on the site, and so there is an impasse as the impasse continues. the stadium decays, and the more it decays the louder are the voices saying that it is no longer a viable site for speedway and stock cars and that it should be reclassified as land for housing. And then the travellers visit again and more damage is done and the cycle of dilapidation and neglect and frustration continues. Save Coventry Speedway has been set up to oppose the development plans and try to restore Speedway to the stadium. It believes that there is at least one buyer who would be prepared to plough money into the arena to make it feasible to stage Speedway and stock car meetings again. We are aware that damage to the stadium itself has occurred at the most recent visit, the campaigners said in a recent statement. And this could in fact be seen to strengthen the case Brandon Estates are attempting to build. That the site is derelict and that redevelopment should be made a priority. On Friday afternoon, the developers submitted a planning application. I hope Rugby Borough Council do the right thing again. I hope the application is rejected and that the developers are told never to come back. I hope they are told that that land belongs to Speedway, as it has done for nearly 100 years, and that it should be returned to Speedway, and I hope that at some point in the future, we start to pay our old sporting stadiums the respect they deserve. We are a proud sporting nation and these arenas are part of our architectural heritage. To many of us, they are a lot more than bricks and mortar. They are homes to our memories and they deserve protection from those who would destroy them. Football often gives the impression it thinks it is too high and mighty to have to pay attention to the whereabouts rule for drug testing. We expect athletes and cyclists to abide by the rule faithfully and we heap opprobrium on them when they miss a test and say they didn't hear their doorbell or they were asleep in their hotel room. Yet when Alexis Sanchez missed a test last week because he was in the middle of completing his move from Arsenal to Manchester United, English football still gives the impression it was ridiculous to expect anyone to know where he was. It's just a bad day for him to be tested, said Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger. Silly us, well try to pick a good day for Arsenal next time. Shall we? That kind of reasoning just doesn't cut it. Football's attitude to anti-doping is an arrogant mess. It's about time it was given a wake-up call. Phil Neville made a mistake when he cracked a joke on Twitter 6 years ago about domestic violence and it came back to haunt him when he was named the manager of the England women's team last week. It was a stupid joke about a subject that affects many people deeply made by a gentle, honest man who is about as far away from being a misogynist as it is possible to be. Many intelligent voices pointed out that they were far more concerned about Neville's lack of experience in the women's game than his sense of humour. It is those people to whom he needs to prove a point.